Hello, Ryan here, aka Mac, and welcome. In this video, I go through some of the new roadmap additions that I did not expect to see in 2021, or even at all. As always, a huge thank you to all of my patrons and channel members for making these videos possible, in particular to my latest channel member, Jason R. Thank you so much for the support. So I've been delving through the roadmap, trying to ingest it all, and I've noticed a few unexpected cards. Now these are unexpected either because I thought we would most likely see them much later than on next year's roadmap, or in one case, I had no idea that they were even planning on them. Now I do have a number of videos planned covering all of the things that are on the roadmap, and although there are many other exciting features on the progress tracker, this is a look at the most unexpected roadmap features that are present on the 2021 roadmap. So kicking it off is Dynamic Environments, and this card reads, updating the emergency outposts as a proof of concept for the new dynamic interior environments. This includes allowing the players to use the tractor beam thanks to the addition of interactable props and consumables. Now to me this sounds pretty interesting. Also, I will point out that this sprint for the art team is 3 weeks long, not meaning that we will have it in 3 weeks or even in Q1 patch, but it does show that they are getting on with it now. What this does mean though is, as a proof of concept, it is a testbed in a way to sort of allow us to decorate the interior of an outpost using the tractor beam or by hand, picking up and moving all of the props available. Something CIG are on with now is converting or recreating all of the existing props which are not physicalized, meaning that they are static and won't move, to be physicalized. So we can pick them up, move them around, and place them wherever we want to. What's really exciting about this is how it's a proof of concept for when we are allowed to own property like homesteads, hangars, or apartments, and eventually base building. It's all part of getting to that point. So I was very excited to see this on the roadmap. So leading on from Dynamic Environments, we have a new card which I never even considered. It is called Small Home Outposts. Now this has a 28-week duration for both art and design, and it reads, a small home for players to live and shelter. They'll consist of a central hub and a few optional internal and external modules. They provide the basic necessities to support a small group of people for an indefinite amount of time. So this is quite a difficult one to picture, as we have no idea to what depth this or the control that we will have over these small outpost homes. Are they pre-placed? Can we build them? Where will they be? Do they need power and resources to function? What are the basic necessities and can they be replenished? There are currently more questions than answers surrounding this card, but whatever the answer is here, it has certainly intrigued me. Now I really love the idea of a group of us having a location that we can call home for a little while, a meeting point maybe to group up and log out of, and then get prepared for missions or jobs with various modules and various purposes. As I say, it's hard to picture how it will work, but maybe we'll have habitation, storage, and armory modules to start with. Do let me know what your thoughts are here, and hopefully we hear about this from CIG soon. So next up is something that I had no idea was in the works. That is the Nyx system. Now we know of Pyro, we have seen the progress on CIG's weekly videos, but Nyx was never mentioned as a work in progress system. It does kind of make sense, as Levski is officially found within the Nyx system and CIG have been wanting to put it there and remove it from Stanton, and it's also a relatively easy system to create due to its lack of planets and points of interest, plus it is connected via a jump point to Pyro. Now listed on the progress tracker of the roadmap is Nyx 1, and it says it's a coreless planet that was abandoned after being mined clean. Nyx 2 is a planet with a high pressure atmosphere and thick clouds of acid, but not worth terraforming, and then Nyx 3 is an ice giant lacking a breathable atmosphere or any valuable minerals. It also mentions that Nyx 1 and 2 will include the creation of derelicts, abandoned outposts, caves, and unique flora and fauna. All three of these planets are requiring a sprint from the art department. For Nyx 3, the ice giant, the sprint is about 3 weeks long, but for Nyx 1 and 2, they are 13 weeks long. So it's great to see that CIG are already working on Star Citizen's third system, but I'm really interested in hearing more regarding the new plans of opening up this studio in Montreal, which is dedicated to building out Star Citizen's planets, moons, and systems. So one feature that I was happy to notice, which only has 2 week sprints from design, is Recipe TDD. This states performing an overall polish path on the economic systems from commodity trading to item prices to provide a better overall experience for players. So this is quite a small but big sprint that will really affect things in the very near term, and I was so happy to see it on the roadmap. Right now the pricing, the payouts and the cost of things are all over the place, and are usually what dictates what activity we take part in the alpha, due to some maybe being OP priced like the ROC and avoiding others that are maybe underpaid jobs. Pricing for components, weapons, ammo, clothes, everything. CIG will go through it all, balancing it all and bringing it more in line with where they want it to be. Obviously, this is still just a static pricing pass that will create a bit more of a refined game. It is not this dynamic economy which will accurately and dynamically alter and set the prices of everything from mission payouts to commodities to materials and minerals that will be varied from location to location and affecting the supply and demand. But for now though, it'll be a much welcome balance, and I'm very happy to see it on the roadmap, and it doesn't have a long duration either, so that's a good sign. So there's a lot of ships displayed on the roadmap, so many in fact that I am working on a separate video dedicated to just the ships. So do make sure you are subscribed if that is of interest to you. But with that said, there was a lot of ships that I was not expecting to see on the progress tracker for 2021. So I'll just briefly go through those now. We have the Misk Hull A and B, the Crusader Hercules M2 and A2, the Polaris, the Ares and the Redeemer. So we knew that the Hull C was pretty much the first Hull ship we would get into the PU after the tech hurdles are completed, but seeing the Hull A and B is great. And yes, they do seem to have quite a lot of work to go, 29 weeks worth in fact, but it's great to see that that work is happening in 2021. And the same kind of goes for the Hercules. The C2 we knew was very close, but the M2 and the A2 were never mentioned. But now we know that the first patch of the year, the 3.13 patch, which I have covered in a separate video linked in the description below, we have seen the C2 and the M2 are both slated for release in 3.13, with hopefully the A2 not far behind. For the Redeemer, we have seen a couple of white box updates after they reinvented it as a gunship, but knowing it is in the works with a 28-week duration sprint for art and design is great to see. The Polaris, the Ares, they are unexpected additions. Of course, it was anyone's guess whether work would happen on these two ships, but seeing that it has a 23-week sprint for the Polaris and a 26-week sprint for both the Ares Inferno and Ion means that we could be seeing it as early as Q2, Q3 2021. All being well, of course. As I mentioned earlier, I do have some more roadmap videos dedicated to ships coming up, so do keep an eye out for those ones. So next up is org perks and benefits. Now I'm not entirely certain what this is going to involve or how it will work exactly, but it does say, leveraging the reputation system, we're adding in-game perks based upon organizations the player has joined. So does this allow for org ranks? Maybe being known, displayed and utilized in some way, allowing orgs to promote or demote players based on their actions? That would kind of be my guess. It has an 8-week sprint duration with engineering and art, and could tie nicely into the next feature on the list, which is the multi-crew permission system. And it says this will allow players to assign roles to each other in running large ships. Roles determine what access you have to view and manipulate ship systems, and players will be able to customize this as they need. So although this one is not directly associated with organizations, it'll certainly aid in orgs playing together. For example, if a member of your org has just joined your org and is in the first rank tier, you might not want to allow them access to the bridge or the armory or the engineering section until that trust has been built. So you can assign them a role as a turret gunner perhaps, and only grant them access to turrets, habitation and the mess hall, whereas if a high-ranking officer comes on board, you'll want them to have access to pretty much everywhere. Now these two systems will make multi-crew so much more refined and controlled, and I cannot wait to get my org playing together. So the next one on the list is currently only slated for Squadron 42, but as usual, I would expect it to eventually come over to the PU as well, and I had absolutely no idea it was even planned. Boat Movement Parameters, it's called, which is the creation and support of a new vehicle movement simulation and movement type for use with boats and other aquatic vehicles. Now this could just be a very small specific scene in Squadron 42 containing a boat, but it has been spoken about in the past. Do they allow our ships to float and submerge, or will they create a whole new line of vehicles for water activities? This question has never officially been answered. We have seen them doing work on buoyancy quite recently, and they do intend on creating points of interest, derelicts and missions out at sea and on the oceans of the planets. So it certainly sounds as though one day in the future of Star Citizen, we will see boats, obviously starting with Squadron 42. So my second to last feature, which I was very happy to see on the 2021 progress tracker, was Retaliator room swapping. Now for those of you who don't know, this refers to ship modularity, and for certain ships you will have the ability to completely swap out the interior modules to add or change up its functionality. The Vanguards, the Caterpillar, the Karak, and of course the Retaliator are all ships that are able to do this. Now CIG did mention recently that this would all start with the Retaliator being the first ship to get this new tech implemented, and that means that we will be able to swap out the torpedo bay for the cargo module or living quarters or whatever else they can think to create. Also, for any Retaliator owners out there, it will probably mean that you will have the base module, which I believe is the cargo module, and then you will need to purchase the torpedo module separately, in-game or maybe even out of game as well. So the final feature on my list is Salvage Tier 0. Now this I did not expect to see in the works for 2021. With the 9-week duration for an engineering sprint to get started on it could mean that we could see salvaging in the PU sometime later in the next year. It reads all back-end tech tasks related to creating the first pass of the salvaging feature that will be used in future locations and mission updates. Now as it states, this is the creation of the first pass of salvaging, so I certainly wouldn't expect it to be the full-on reclaimer ship chomping action, more likely the scraping of a vehicle's hull using the multi-tool or removal of components and weapons from derelict ships for resale or personal use. Will it be using the Vulture? Possibly, but with no sign of the Vulture on the roadmap, it's not really worth guessing at. But either way, I am so ready to see what the first implementation of salvage is going to be like. And I know I am not alone on that one. So that is the rundown of my most unexpected roadmap cards. Do let me know if I've missed any off and what you were most surprised to see on the roadmap. But with that said, I have plenty more videos in the works talking further about the roadmap and its features. So do hit that subscribe button if you don't want to miss out on them. And tick that notification bell if you want to be notified when my videos go live. If you can do me a big favor and hit that thumbs up, I would really appreciate it. And if you want to talk more about Star Citizen, the roadmap, or anything in general, be sure to come follow me over on twitch.tv/supermacbrothers. The link is in the description and everybody is welcome. I'm able to make these videos thanks to my patrons and channel members, so thank you guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.